to hold up something to tell me because I don't even remember. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song. So glad you are all here today. And thank you, Carolyn. Day 853. See if anybody else also cues me. I love all my cuers. Day 853 here in the Daily Antidote of Song. We've been doing this for a long time. Let's just take a breath about that. That's 853 days of friendship with people that many of us have never even met. Like, actually, we should all give a hug about that too. It's so amazing to be in this space with folks who come here every day to sing. And in fact, when I introduce my guest, I'm going to show you guys something funny about what he has on his website. So I want to say hi to everybody out there on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us today. Daily Antidote of Song. This is Carpe Diem Arts. I'm Jo Rasi. One of the many hosts, beautiful, amazing, terrific, incredible hosts that we have in this program. Thank you for coming, and we hope you'll come every single day. Hi, and thank you to Aaron for running the tech today. So glad you're here, Aaron. Aaron has been doing this whole week for us while Jaden's on vacation. Let's all give Aaron a cheer. That's a big task. And hello, of course, to Matt Watroba, who is our song leader for today. And I will come back to Matt after I say hello to everybody else. Hello to Martha in Oregon. Glad you made it today. Nice to see you. And Becky in Vancouver. Hello. Great to see you. And Sue Sean in Massachusetts. Nice to see you today. Annette in California. Hello. Carolyn in Idaho. Hello. Bonnie in Idaho. You guys are right next to each other. It's like two friends. You could face in and wave to each other right now. That'd be very cute. Yay! Oh, you both face the same direction. Kevin in DC, hello. I love it. Nice to have you today with your flute. Good to see you. Hello to Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Hello to Bruce Galloway. That's not Bruce Galloway. That's Kate in Charlottesville, I swear. Unless I have that wrong. Kate, is that you? Yeah, okay. Hello to Deli in Maryland. Nice to see you, Deli. Glad you're here. And Anne in Knoxville. Hello. Bronwyn in Victoria. Glad to see you today. And hello to Susan G coming in Ohio. And hang on 1 second. Did I just miss somebody? No. Hello to Steve and Michelle coming in from Silver Spring, Maryland. And Arlene coming in from Berkeley, California with the hat of the day. Thank you very much. That is completely beautiful. Hello, Luda in Victoria. Good to see you. Hi, Jamie, coming in also from Victoria. Nice to see you. And Luda, I don't actually see you, but I know you're here. Hello to Susan in Seattle. Hello to Sarah in Texas. Hi to Kathy, who's coming in from the Arapaho Cheyenne Nation land. Nice to see you and your little pooch. Hello to one curly top, more than one curly top plus monkey, and additional curly tops potentially in the background. Hello, whoa. Okay, that's completely cool. Hello to, I love it, beautiful. Hello to Storm. Nice to see you today coming in from Massachusetts. Oh, and the curly tops are coming in from Vermont. Hello to Deborah in Kentucky in her car. Nice to see you. Hello to Kat coming in from Vermont. Jane in Texas. Trish in Victoria. Cricket in Maryland. Nancy's Irish Cow coming in from Washington State. Anne in Nashville. Dan in Vienna, Virginia. Sheila in Florida. And other folks off camera. Susan in Tacoma Park. And Lynn in Connecticut. Shari in New Hampshire. Jamie and Sandy in Western North Carolina, and Gary in Mass, and Shelly and Linda and Fred in Silver Spring. And let's see, Aloysius also coming in from Massachusetts, and folks still popping in the room, Tusi and anybody else I missed. Let's all take one big deep breath. Wait, what just happened? Hi, everybody. I'm not sure where I just went. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the Daily Antidote Song. Okay. I want to say greetings to everybody. A couple of quick announcements. So I don't want anybody to be worried right now. I'm just going to say, because everything is okay, but I just do want to say that Dennis Donnelly actually ended up in the hospital for having a heart attack, but was caught very quickly, and he's actually going home today. But let's all send some love to Dennis. Who will, I'm going to guess, watch this later today and be glad to see us all sending him hugs and love. He's very chipper, as we would imagine, from Dennis. Text that I got from him was positive already immediately in its first initial transmission. And I do want to invite folks to stay after today. And for anybody watching on Facebook Live right now, if you want to join us here in the room, you can go to carpediemarts.org and find the Daily Antidote Song and click join us in the virtual room. I'm inviting everyone to stay after for a little bit of chat. And also, we've been sending blessings to Hoda all week, who is also in the hospital and also, we think, doing fine. But it reminded me that we've talked in the past about the fact that when people sometimes leave the room for some reason, we don't always have a way to find out whether they're on vacation or whether or not they need a little extra love. So afterwards, if you want to stay in chat, we're going to talk about what we're going to do and set up this week so that folks can start giving us info so we can contact each other more behind the scenes when necessary. So now another deep breath. Okay, so today's guest is the amazing, incredible, wonderful Matt Watroba. I think this is his third time with us, though
That's
it
right.
might be. Okay, third. And you might recognize Matt's voice from his prior radio days, Folks Like Us, Sing Out Radio Magazine, Folk Alley, all nationally syndicated shows. And he's now a voice on WKAR, and we're going to put links in the chat so you know how to find Matt. And even more significantly, he's doing an incredible podcast right now. And we'll put info in the chat on that too. No Root, No Fruit. Is that right, Matt?
You got it.
Okay. And we'll chat about that and other things during our discussion time. Matt is also a founding member of the National Folk Alliance, or so I read. Is that also true?
That is.
That's pretty cool. And a teacher, and of course, in so many other ways, just like an educator of all. And he has on his website that he's inspiring the world to sing one town at a time. And I just thought that was awesome because here in the Daily Antidote, we alternatingly say, making each day better one song at a time, or making the world a better place one song at a time. So Matt is in the same business that we are in, which we already knew from our last encounters with him. And Matt, maybe in light of the pandemic, we need to change it to one square at a time or something. Okay, so I'm turning it over to Matt. Matt, we can't wait to sing with you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. I do so support and love the community that you've all built around this daily song. It's just a wonderful idea. I thought maybe I'd bring my old friend Tom Paxton into the room. Tom has been writing songs for 6 decades, every decade writing great songs. He never stops. And we'll talk about it later, but let's just sing this beautiful song of his called How Beautiful Upon the Mountain. And here's the chorus. The line repeats twice, but it's a slightly different melody. So if you, in fact, why don't you listen to me sing it once and then we'll sing it together. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Try it. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Across the bridge at Selma you came marching side by side. In your eyes a new world on the way. Hope was in your heart and justice would not be denied. You sang we shall overcome someday. God knows the courage you possessed, and Issiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Marching round the White House, marching round the Pentagon, marching round the mighty missile plants, speaking truth to power, singing peace in Babylon, asking us why not give peace a chance. God knows the courage you possess, and Issiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Now the generations who have joined you on this road look to you with power in their eyes. Now you know the torch has passed as they pick up the load. Now you see their eyes are on the prize. God knows the courage they possess. And Issiah said it best. You know it now, singing, oh, beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Oh, let's do it one more time. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yes, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. How beautiful the song and Matt Watroba's voice. Thank you, Matt, so much. That was a great pick for today or for this time for so many reasons. So I know that the way you worded it is you're bringing your friend Tom Paxton in the room, which is awesome because of course you are. And of course, we're actually thinking that Tom is going to be in the room with us in real person in early September, which we're excited about.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super
Tom
excited.
was the reason I got into this music. When I was 13 or 14 years old, I discovered him through a record in my ninth grade English class. Actually, I hate to admit this in front of all these wonderful people, but at 13, I actually stole the record from my English class. I got to really know my teacher well, though, and she has forgiven me. And it actually, the very record signed by Tom is sitting right over there on the wall in my office right now,
Okay, that's
because that record literally changed the whole course of my life. I took it home. I looked at the liner notes. I went to the library, learned about all the Greenwich Village folk scene, and it led to a life of singing and doing radio, all about folk music. So I owe a great deal of, I just love Tom Paxton. He's become a friend over the years, and you guys are in for a treat when he comes to visit.
That is such a beautiful story, and it made me think about how many schools at this point would have in their collection things that would lead folks into, and I fear not enough of them would have things in their collection that would lead folks into, various alternative or artistic endeavors. And
Well, I think you're right about that, Joe. And the thing about that too is that I mean a good part of what I do in my performance is singing in the schools. So I think it's kind of up to us to do that as well. So if it's not happening naturally in the classroom, there's the Reggie Harrises of the world and the work I do with my partner, the Reverend Robert Jones. A lot of folks are going into schools and reminding young people that there's this whole vein of music and song that's worth discovering.
that is just great. Yeah. So thank you for mentioning Reverend Robert Jones, who also sang in this room with us once with Reggie hosting him. And what an amazing human being. And actually, all three of you have in common that that the impression of just wanting to get what you're doing out into the souls of the people who you are educating every time you sing, right? Even when you're preaching to the choir, we're getting educated and re-educated in here in a way to keep us going.
Well, doesn't art have that unique way of bypassing the brain and going right to the heart? And,
Yes.
once the heart is changed, then the mind comes after. So,
That is such a truth. Thank you so much for saying that. So let's see. You mentioned that, yeah, that you were going to talk about this song kind of in the context of where we are right now as a nation or as people in this nation or in the globe.
right. I literally, I have thousands of songs to choose from. I think I landed on this one today just because it's so easy right now with what's going on currently in the world to think that everyone is like on the bad guy. And the truth is that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good things. I mean, we're sitting in this community as an example of one of those things. And this song reminds me that activism has been something that's been around for forever. and that you can focus on what isn't happening in the world, or as Tom does in this song, you can focus on what is happening and trace it right up to the present and how that baton is being passed on to, like the kids at Parkland and all the other folks who are not just grousing about it, but taking a stand and doing something about it. So I think that's why I picked this song today, so that it gives me hope.
That's gorgeous. And I think it's so interesting because we keep talking in this room about that balance between hope and despair, and how on any given day you might wake up in one place and you got to get yourself to the other place, because in despair we're very weak and in hope we're very strong, right? And so some days I wake up and I look at the teenage population and I see apathy, or I see, that in some ways they're right to be losing hope because there's just so much on their shoulders. And other days I wake up and I think of Greta Thunberg, I'm not sure I'm saying that name right, and or others like her, the Parkland teens, like the folks who are getting out there and just saying like, no, actually, like, of course we need to hold on to our hope and make change in the world.
And I don't take it lightly that, when we're feeling a little down, to know that at noon we can go to a place that's going to remind us of this kind of stuff every day, or noon, or whatever time it is where you are. I think that's no small thing.
I think for the 50 some odd people in this room and all of you out there also on Facebook Live, I think that's exactly it, right? We've talked about that too. We come into this room some days not feeling great, and we oftentimes leave it feeling great. Or we come into the room feeling confused and we leave it at least feeling thoughtful, right? Even if like we haven't come in here and we think like, yahoo, we're gonna take the world on. We at least come out saying like, okay, I have to do a little more growing or a little more doing to be able to make the change I want to make. And so anybody in the room here come every day for a little bit of inspiration? Sometimes I think the inspiration overrides the singing. Or no, wait, actually, it's the singing overrides the no, wait, no, I see. It's actually entirely mutually connected, right? Like it's both, where they're not removable from each other.
Nope, couldn't have one without the other, that's for sure. And singing, you mentioned that, we both believe about what song can do, but I actually believe what singing can do. I mean, it's the actual act of singing to me that has a healing process. And when people ask me what I do for a living these days, I don't say I'm a singer-songwriter. I say I'm a song leader, because that's the work that I have gotten the most out of in the last 5 or 6 years. It's bringing people together who are not professional, just for the sake of raising our voices together. And I don't care if we're singing Mary Had a Little Lamb or How Beautiful Upon the Mountain. There is something about singing that brings us together in a way nothing else I've ever done does.
Yes, totally, totally agree. And I was just reading an article. I love all the brain science stuff and the sort of music and its relationship to brain health. And something I was just reading is talking about studies about how precisely what is charging the brain or creating new pathways in the brain is the fact that the music bypasses our logic or our reason and goes straight to the emotion. So something about the way that in our brains that connection is happening almost without us, right? Like without us as conscious beings, that actually has something to do with how it strengthens our brain. And I think that's fabulous, because all of us in here are going to be so smart by the end of 8,500 days. We're going to be the smartest beings.
Yeah, and feeling better, because it actually does release chemicals in our brain that heal us. And the study that I read that really blew my mind is the one that said singing does that, of course, but if you sing in community with other people, it can triple or even quadruple the effect of the healing. So there's something about combining the singing and the community that exponentially gives you that kind of that extra boost.
That's really cool. That's so cool. Everybody, let's take a deep breath, because air also combined with singing and what we do gives us a boost. It's so nice to be here with all of you. And Matt, it's so nice to be here with you.
Great to be back.
Thank you. Before we pop back into singing that great song again, and again, I want to say for anybody who came in here after the fact, so it's a hello to, I think, a Shirley and an Amos and a Rosalie and a couple of other folks who jumped in, Linda. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us also. That we are going to have a little chat time today afterwards, so please feel free to stay. And I was going to say, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about the podcast,
Oh,
please?
absolutely. I got the idea, of course, when we're all kind of shut down in quarantine, on how to kind of combine a lot of the things I love to do in radio, which is, I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to folk and roots and Americana music, and I know how to put together a program. So I decided to delve into the area of the podcast. I thought I'd be the 2 millionth and one person to do that in the world, and created this thing called No Root, No Fruit, which is a history of folk roots and Americana music, one record at a time. So each episode of my podcast focuses in on one iconic record from folk music history, even recent stuff too, I'm going to be getting into. But for instance, Tom Paxton's Ramblin' Boy is one of the records that I just did a couple of episodes ago. I've also done, and then for each one of these episodes, I also bring in a guest who can talk about why that record was so influential to them. So the first one I did, for instance, was Pete Seeger's live at Carnegie Hall, the We Shall Overcome concert in 1963, right in the thick of the civil rights movement. And I brought in folk singer John McCutcheon. Have you had John here?
We have not had John
Oh,
here.
so I brought in John McCutcheon to talk about, he bought that record when he was 12 years old with his baby or his paper route money, and he listened to it and it made him into a folk singer. So I also try to include an interview with someone who was really moved by having that record in their life, and they end up being between 30 and 40 minutes, and it's really a blast putting it together. I just finished my latest one on the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's record called Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which
Wow.
brought together a whole bunch of people in Nashville, old time country royalty with the hippie band from California.
That is so cool. I absolutely love that. And so before we open today, Matt and I were talking about an idea that I'd had that maybe we could try and do sort of like new friends theme in September because it's sort of beginnings, back to school, and kids are out there meeting a lot of new friends, and maybe we could be doing that in here. So Matt, maybe we've just figured out who the new friend is that you could bring to us. We have had John in our Carpe Diem Arts Community Sings, but not as far as I remember. Anybody clue me in? Am I forgetting? Did we actually have John? We did not, right? No. Everybody's saying we did not. Okay. So there we
I'll
go.
I'll
Um,
reach out to him for sure.
that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
And so actually the other question I had for you is the Tom Paxton album that you said you just did in your podcast was Ramblin'.
Ramblin' Boy, that was his very first studio record.
Okay. And is that also the one that you stole?
No, no, it was the one he did right after that called Ain't That News that I ended up taking. So if I were the guest on the program, it would have been the second record, but my guest on the program is both Tom, because I took an old interview that I did and his voice is in there. But I also picked anybody who's from the Albany, New York area and listens to folk music. You might know the DJ Wanda Fisher. And Wanda was my guest. She literally did buy that record with her babysitting money when she was like 11 years old. And it again, it inspired her to do radio for 40 years.
That's amazing. Well, Wanda may be morally superior to you at this point because she actually saved her money instead of like taking it. But I think your karma is okay now. You've made up for it over time. And
That's a good observation though.
I'm just totally kidding. Um, so thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. It's always so, I don't know, moving and connective to have you in this room with us. I feel the same way every time you're here is
Well,
like,
thank you.
you bring me hope. So thank you so much for what you do in the world. And do you have anything else you want to say before we sing again?
No, the only thing I would say is if you also believe that to be true, you can pay me back by not I mean by really letting it loose this time when we go through this song, okay? Just no one's around you, you're all by yourself for the most part. Let it out. See if it's true. See if it's true that the very act of singing makes us feel better.
Love it.
You ready?
Hmm.
How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Across the bridge at Selma, you came marching side by side. In your eyes, a new world on the way. Hope was in your heart and justice would not be denied. You sang, we shall overcome someday. God knows the courage you possessed, and Issiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Marching round the White House, marching round the Pentagon, marching round the mighty missile plants, speaking truth to power, singing peace in Babylon, asking us why not give peace a chance. God knows the courage you possess, and Issiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. Now the generations who have joined you on this road look to you with power in their eyes. Now you know the torch has passed as they pick up the load. Now you see their eyes are on the prize. God knows the courage they possess, and Issiah said it best. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in. Let's do it one more time. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace. How beautiful upon the mountain are the steps of those who walk in peace.
Woo! Thank you.
What a privilege it is to sing for you all.
What a privilege it is to share space with you and to sing with you, Matt. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. And I couldn't tell, Steve and Michelle were holding something up. I'm not sure if that was a Tom Paxton album cover or what. We'll spotlight you during the post discussion. And I want to thank everybody for bringing your instruments and your shakers and your voices and your beings and your hearts and your souls into this space where we can all be for a little while together and more than the sum of our parts. And so thank you. Thank you again, everybody. Help me wave goodbye to everybody out there on Facebook Live. Thanks, Facebook. Matt Watroba. And there are links in the chat to his website, his podcast, his radio, and more, and his touring schedule. So please go ahead and check that out. And see you tomorrow, Facebook. Goodbye. Uh-oh, I just gave Facebook a Kathy B. That's awesome. Goodbye.